$100 Alberta energy rebate, and I got it. I got it on time. My initial email said, you will get your e-transfer by Friday, July 17th, and I got it yesterday. So now I have generational wealth, and I am ready to spend it. No, it is not generational wealth, but I did get my $100 on time from the province. Now, this next conversation is something you asked us to talk about. This came in on our text line, 403-974-8255. And you said, we are having such problems accessing this money, getting through the web portal, putting our information in. How on earth does someone do this who is vulnerable or maybe is or has experienced homelessness? And we thought, what a great question. If we have trouble doing this in our homes with our computers, what about our other Calgarians? Joining us to discuss, Chaz Smith of Be the Change YYC. Welcome back to the show, Chaz.
Thank you for having me.
What do you know about people you work with, your clients, the people who you help, being able to access and be available to get this money?
Yeah, I think you summarized it quite well. Folks who are housed had issues, and so you can only imagine if you're unhoused and homeless, how difficult that could be. There's a multitude of factors at play here.
Now, 2 criteria to get this money. You had to have a household income of less than $225,000, and you had to have filed a 2025 tax return. So some might assume, well, if someone is houseless, then they probably wouldn't have filed a tax return. But this is an experience that can come and go out of people's lives. You never know when your life is going to change. So you must have clients who do meet the criteria who would be eligible for the money.
Yeah, I think most of the individuals we serve are making under $225,000 a year.
Yes.
So probably all of them would be able to qualify. And, you know, a little known fact folks don't realize is almost 50% of people experiencing homelessness actually have jobs. So like you said there, not filing your 2025 taxes, that could be a problem. And that is a consistent problem that we find across the population we serve. We're consistently providing referrals to these tax clinics during that time of year to get folks having their taxes filed. But even just that, having simple things like being able to get a My Alberta, the alberta.ca account in order to complete these forms to get your Alberta energy rebate, you have to be able to verify your identity to get that alberta.ca account. You need a piece of identification. Mm-hmm. You have to have a fixed mailing address, and you need some way of accessing the internet via computer or a phone. As you can imagine, experiencing homelessness, having a phone and a computer is not something that we see too often. Unfortunately, anyone that seems to get a cell phone doesn't last too long because they end up getting robbed and it gets stolen. Now, a wallet is just the same. Another number one referral we're giving folks is to the ID clinic at the new NAV Center so that folks can actually go get an identification card. So there's quite a few different barriers for folks being able to access. And my understanding is September is sort of that cutoff of when people can apply for the energy rebate. So I can share on our shift last night, we served 52 individuals. Not a single one of them actually knew about the $100 energy rebate. So that was quite a surprise to us. And so we're trying to share that with folks and hopefully get folks in that do qualify. However, no one really knew about it. And so some of the questions from our leadership team at Be the Change was, you know, why wasn't this marketed very well? Why wasn't there a lot of advertising to sort of encourage folks to access?
Well, especially because there really are 2 groups of people with this money. There are those who are saying, okay, honestly, it's $100. I'm not going to notice it. I'm truly not going to even pay attention to it in my bank account. And then there's the other side saying $100 is critical. That is the difference between feeding my son, paying my rent, having a pair of shoes to put on my feet when I go to work. This is month-changing money. And so especially for your clients, the barriers of they are working, but they need to be able to pay and file their taxes. And then they need to be able to get the money and a computer and internet access. Many of us take all of that for granted, Chaz.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you summarize it quite well. $100 is, quite a bit of money. That could be the difference between, somebody who's homeless being able to afford their lunch for a day at work or being able to afford their transit fare to get to work. Maybe that new pair of work boots that they need. So that's actually quite a lot of money for individuals in these precarious situations. And we'll continue working at Be the Change to, make sure folks are getting into those ID clinics, those tax clinics. I think one thing that we can appreciate here and be grateful for is that anyone on income support or seniors benefit and AISH or ADAP, as it's essentially called today, they got auto-paid that $100. So that's really awesome that the government thought about that. Now, most people on the streets are not on income support. So, and they really, truly should be, because that would be a better way to, have health insurance and be able to try and get them off the streets. That's sort of one of the mechanisms we use to divert folks out of homelessness, is just getting that first month's rent and damage deposit. However, as you can imagine, again, not having fixed address, not having identification card, not having access to phone and limited computers, that also creates barriers to even accessing those programs. So, we'll continue working to make sure folks know how to go about this, and our team will keep providing those referrals. It's important that everyone gets access to the money. I mean, we're all paying for this one way or another. At the gas pump, when it goes to the grocery store, when it comes to utilities, transit, it kind of will trickle down across every sector, right? So it's important that folks are able to get their $100 energy rebate.
I agree. And you can help actually Be the Change YYC right now by learning more on their website about a critical bottle drive that helps fund their programs. Chaz Smith, Be the Change YYC, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Debbie, and I'm